I moved to Cedar Hollow Lake for one thing quiet. After 20 years fixing engines in the Navy and another 10 wrangling teenagers through physics class, I was done with noise, done with chaos. I wanted a place where I could sip coffee, watch the sunrise ripple across the water, and let my old hound Rusty nap at my feet. Found this little cottage, nothing fancy, just a creaky two-bedroom with a porch that wraps around like a warm hug. But the real prize? A private dock stretching 20 feet out into the lake, built long before I got here, my slice of heaven. I'd sit there with my granddaughter Lila, fishing poles in hand, or just lean back in a rickety chair, listening to the boards groan under me like they were whispering stories. For years, nobody bothered me. Neighbors kept to themselves, and the HOA was too busy nitpicking lawn ornaments or Christmas lights left up past New Year's to care about my dock. That is, until Marla Bennett showed up. Marla was the kind of person who wielded a clipboard like it was a scepter. Picture it. Sharp bob haircut, always in yoga pants and a Bluetooth headset, flashing a smile that screamed, "I'm in charge, and you're not." Within weeks of moving in 3 houses down, she'd strong-armed her way into HOA president nobody else ran, and I didn't vote. My bad. At first, she stuck to the usual nonsense. Letters about mailbox colors, fines for trash cans left out. My place, sitting right on the lake, was outside their cookie-cutter cul-de-sacs, and my deed spelled out clear as day that the dock and the 10 feet of shoreline beyond it were mine. I thought I was safe. Then one chilly April morning, I spotted a gray SUV idling at the end of my gravel driveway. Rusty gave a lazy bark and went back to sleep, but something in my gut tightened. The car lingered, then peeled off. 3 days later, a letter arrived from some lakefront oversight committee, news to me, since no such thing existed last I checked. It claimed my dock was encroaching on HOA-managed shoreline and demanded I file for usage approval or face fines. For a dock older than half the houses here, I tossed the letter in the trash. But Marla wasn't one to let things go. She started showing up, walking her dog along the lake trail, snapping photos with her phone. One time, she stood across the water, staring at my dock for a solid 15 minutes like it personally offended her. I just kept sanding a rail, earbuds in, pretending I didn't notice. Then came the emails, "Dear Mr. Harper, please comply with dock usage guidelines," and the HOA has noted an unauthorized structure in shared space. Shared space? That was a laugh. I pulled my deed, checked the county surveys twice. My lot stretched 10 feet past the dock's edge, grandfathered in under 1985 zoning laws. She had nothing. But Marla didn't need facts. She had bylaws and a printer that never quit. One afternoon, I was pruning my hedges when I saw a hare in my dock. She'd hopped the low gate I kept padlocked at the backyard's edge. "Hey," I called, striding down the hill. "That's private property." She spun around, all fake charm, waving like we were pals. "Oh, just documenting for shoreline compliance, Tom." "Get off my dock," I said, voice steady but sharp. "I'm authorized by the board." She chirped like that meant anything. "One more step, and it's trespassing." She gave me a long look, snapped one last photo probably of me and Rusty glaring at her, and sauntered off. That night, I called my lawyer, Ed, and the county registrar. Time to get serious. I dug out every document I had, deed, surveys, even a faded photo of the dock from '93. Marla thought she could steamroll a retired guy with a dog. She had no idea who she was messing with. Things got quiet for a bit, like the calm before a storm. I kept busy repainting the dock, tightening bolts, checking the water line after spring rains. Then one morning, coffee in hand, I saw her again. Marla, bold as brass, standing at the end of my dock, phone out, filming like she was Scorsese shooting a lakefront epic. Her heels clicked on the planks, her voice carrying across the water, narrating some nonsense about non-compliant structures. I didn't yell this time. I walked down, rusty at my heels, feeling that old Navy focus kick in, not anger, just clarity. "You're trespassing," I said, calm as the lake. She barely glanced at me. "Just documenting for the HOA's shoreline review, Tom. We've had complaints." "From who?" "You." I shot back. She smirked, still filming. "I'm following protocol." "No, you're escalating." I pulled out my phone and snapped a photo of her on my dock. Her face twitched just a flicker, but I'd hit a nerve. She stepped off, marched her SUV parked half on my grass, and peeled out. I filed a trespassing report with the sheriff that night, time-stamped photo and all. Didn't expect much, but I wanted it on record. Then the HOA upped the ante. 3 letters arrived. One fining me $500 for an unregistered structure. Another banning me from using my own dock until an environmental review was Donino date set, of course, and a third demanding $200 in fines, payable to some sketchy P.O. box. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at them, feeling that old tactical instinct flare. Marla wasn't just after my dock. She was after control, the kind of power that thrives on making people feel small. I'd seen it before: petty officers, bad principals, bureaucrats who think they're untouchable. Not this time. Ed, my lawyer, laughed when I showed him the letters. "She's got nothing, Tom. Your dock's grandfathered, and she's overstepping like it's her job." We drafted a cease and desist letter, citing trespassing laws and my property rights. Sent it certified mail. Marla's response? A new Lakefront Harmony task force she'd invented, with her as chair. Their letter, in Comic Sans no less, demanded I suspend dock usage for vague erosion concerns. I installed a motion sensor camera the next day, solar-powered, aimed right at the dock. Sure enough, at 6:17 a.m. a week later, my phone pinged. There was Marla, clipboard in hand, strutting across my dock like she owned it. She even tacked a laminated sign to a post. Under HOA review due, not use. I tore it down, shouting as she scurried to her SUV. "You'll hear from me soon, Tom." Oh, I was ready. Then came the morning that changed everything. I was on the porch when I heard gravel crunch. Marla's SUV rolled down the incline toward my dock, engine humming, brake lights glowing. She stepped out, phone up, filming again, muttering about violations. I noticed something off her car was still running, no parking brake, no driver. "Marla, your car!" I yelled. She ignored me, too busy with her Oscar-worthy narration. Then it happened. The SUV lurched forward, slow at first, then faster, tires hitting the dock's planks with a thud. Marla spun around, eyes wide, fumbling for her keys as the car rolled straight into the lake. The splash was deafening, water exploding as the front end sank, rear wheels lifting before it settled with a gurgling hiss. Marla screamed, wading in knee-deep, pounding the locked door, papers, and her precious clipboard floating around her. I grabbed Rusty's collar, dialed 911, and said, cool as ice, "A vehicle just rolled into Cedar Hollow Lake off my private dock. Driver's safe, but it's sinking." The fire department, sheriff, and a tow crew showed up fast. Neighbors gathered, phones out, whispering. Marla, soaked and shaking, sat on the bank, blanket around her, ranting to a deputy, "That dock's a hazard. It's his fault." I handed over my camera footage every second of her negligence, clear as day. The deputy raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, your car wasn't in park." They hauled her SUV out, water pouring, algae clinging to it like a badge of shame. Marla didn't look at me as they led her to an ambulance, muttering about unsafe structures. The fallout was swift. The HOA sent a mealy-mouthed email about a vehicle malfunction, but the neighborhood wasn't buying it. I printed my documents deed, surveys, county stamps, and went door to door, not mad, just clear. Folks were stunned. Some have been fined for dumb things like garden flags or kids' toys. One guy, Sam Torres, a water district worker, shook my hand and said, "I've seen HOAs pull this before, but you're the first to fight back." Support poured in muffins on my porch, a note from Lila saying, "Grandpa's dock is awesome," in pink marker. The county even sent 2 guys to verify my property line. They set up their gear, checked the pins, and handed me a stamped letter. "Your dock's 100% legal for feet inside the setback." Marla didn't stop. She sent a letter through her lawyer, claiming I owed $14,000 for her car because my unsafe dock caused the accident. Ed nearly choked laughing. She left it in neutral, Tom. We got her on video. We filed a countersuit harassment, defamation, the works. In court, I laid it all out. The trespassing, the fake fines, the SUV in the lake. My neighbors showed up Sam, the Browns with their bright yellow shutters, even Ginny with her kid in tow. The judge didn't blink. "This is a clear case of intimidation," she said, awarding me $8,000. Marla sat stone-faced, but her lawyer looked like he wanted a bolt. The HOA crumbled after that. Marla resigned, citing personal stress. The board suspended all shoreline rules, and David Kim, the vice president, came by with a resignation letter and an offer. Join a new resident advisory committee. I said I'd think about it. Then I heard Marla sold her house and left town. No goodbye, just gone. I wondered what drove her, some need to control, some wound she couldn't let heal. I'll never know. Now, the lake's quiet again. I built a bench at the end of the dock, carve October 25th, underneath, not for victory, but for standing firm. Neighbors stopped by now Sam with chili, Jenny's kid splashing his feet. The dock's not just mine anymore. It's ours, a place where we're free. One evening, Lila sat with me, fishing rod in hand, and asked, "Grandpa, you beat the mean lady, right?" I smiled. "Sweetheart, I just kept my spot." Across the lake, folks wave, laugh live. A plaque under the bench reads, "For those who stood for peace." I don't need anyone to see it. It's enough that it's there. What do you think? Was I right to fight, or should I have let it go? Ever dealt with someone like Marla in your neighborhood? Drop a comment. Share your story. I am all ears.